Hi everyone, it's Natasha. Welcome to my video and my channel. I hope that you will hit that subscribe button down below. It's that red horizontal button that says subscribe. Please hit that down below and I will be very happy to have you join in my YouTube channel family. So right now I want to talk about the Real Techniques 4 Miracle Complexion Sponges. That's what it looks like. I'm sorry about the glare. This is the current one I'm using. Let me just see. I did have my notes with me. Okay. I bought this back in April 17th, 2017. I don't know when it arrived to me. Within 2 weeks. So let's just say I got it by the end of April. And I started using it in early May. May, June, July, August. I've been using this for 3 months. It does recommend you only use this for a month. Well, 1 to 3 months. So I'm still in that range. I do use this when I do use my makeup. And since I've had my channel, I have been using this every time I'm making a video. So minimum 4 in a week that I use this. In the past 3, maybe a little bit more than 3 weeks. Before that, I really didn't use a lot of makeup a lot. But what I usually do is I rinse this either after or before I use it. So this isn't washed actually, just to make sure you guys are interested. That's got some like foundation on it. But let's just say I just used it, right? Let's just say like today. It's a Friday. I used this. I'm either gonna rinse this out today or I'm gonna rinse this out tomorrow if I'm gonna use it for my makeup before I do my makeup. So I'm gonna rinse it, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the facial soap, which is the Neutrogena foaming cleanser. I'm gonna link that down below as well as what I'm talking about and where you can find it. And to me, you know, I don't use a regular soap. I use a makeup cleanser because this is makeup. Regular soap is just regular soap. So that's why I use that, not only to my face, but also to my sponge. This is actually the first sponge I've ever used, and it did take me a while to get used to how to use it because I was just using brushes before using the sponge. I actually enjoy using the sponge more. I don't really think I use as much, what do you call that? As much foundation. I might be using that, but I feel like my skin looks, more natural, I guess, compared to the brush. When I do use the brush, sometimes it can kind of look a little bit more thicker or uneven maybe. And I think it's just because of the bristles. With this, you just kind of pat it, you know? This, like, you pat it like this. Like, I will usually just rub it on places and then I just pat it to kind of even everything out. And you do kind of need to have a little bit more patience, and that's just how I do it. That's exactly how I do it. And I like that it has this kind of, like a diagonal shape over here. And then it kind of puffs out and it kind of skinnies down here. This one, sometimes when the inside of underneath my eyes get kind of creases, like especially from my lashes, then I would just kind of dab it right there inwards like this. Like that's how I do that. Just to kind of get the unevenness and the creasing. And then sometimes, sometimes I will use this to get my nose area because you can't really get it on the flat part, but you can get it on this part here and this part here. So like, I do like how it's shaped because it is perfectly, like, you can actually, I only use this one to do my entire face. So I really, really like it. Do I recommend it? Yes. And this isn't very expensive compared to the Beauty Blender. The reason that I switched to sponges was I wanted to see if it would be a cheaper or just, you know, a better alternative to the brush, even though the brush you're going to have until it breaks apart, which mine are still pretty good. However, I do like this one better. It just doesn't, I guess you don't use as much, as much foundation. I've also used this with my pressed powder, and I will rub it and I will just dab it on my skin. It does come with instructions. You're supposed to moisten this up, and I give it a few minutes, between 5 to 10 minutes, depending on, like, because this is still kind of semi-wet. But if I leave it like this and it's gonna dry up, it will dry up completely. It actually shrinks up similar to that, or I guess it's about the same size. And no, actually it kind of shrunk up since I've been using it. You see the difference? Hasn't it kind of shrunk up a little bit? Right? Yeah, it's kind of a little puffy, like whiter, but I don't know. To me, it looks a little smaller, but this is still slightly moist. So, if this is completely dry, I think it's about the same size. They're a little bit smaller. But when this is moist, it actually like expands really well. Like it poofs up. And so you have, you know, more room to maneuver everything. And I always try to squeeze out as much excess water. And I leave it like on a rag. This is a very clean rag actually. I leave it on a rag. I go do some stuff. I usually moisten it before or right after I put my primer on, because you have to put your primer on and leave it there for at least 5 minutes and let it just stay there. Because if you're going to put a primer on and then you're going to put your foundation on right away, it's not going to work. So you got to leave it at least minimum 5 minutes. I've left it on 5 to 20 minutes and it works beautifully like that. And then that's when I'm going to use this. So this will have a little bit of time to expand during that time frame. I do recommend the value pack. You do save a lot of money when you buy the value pack instead of just buying the one. But if you're one of those people that just want to try the one first, go ahead and get that, just the one. I do recommend the 4-pack. I never got the 1-pack. I just dove in and got the 4-pack, and I'm really, really glad that I did, because when you analyze it and see the pricing, you save so much money. And you know, after a few months, you're gonna have to throw this out. And I can actually see it's like falling apart. Do you see? Yeah, you see that? There's like a spot right there that's already falling apart, and there's like a crack over here. I don't know if you can see it. There's like 2 cracks right there. See that? There's a crack right there, and then above here there's another crack. I don't know if you guys can see those 2 cracks. But you know, I've been using it for about 3 months. And it does say between 1 to 3 months. So I'm going to use this until it actually breaks down so bad that I can't use it anymore. And then I'm going to go to another sponge. Do I recommend this? Yes. 5 out of 5 stars. If you've never tried a sponge, give this a try. And give yourself a little bit of time for a learning curve. They do have videos on how to use it. And even when I watched the videos, it was still frustrating in the beginning. You're not gonna know right away if you've never used a sponge. I'm not an expert in makeup, and I'm very, very new with makeup. A couple years ago, I would only use translucent pressed powder. It hasn't been since like a few years ago that I started to dabble into foundation, and it is a learning curve, and I had to go through a lot of research, a lot of videos, a lot of blogs, and just to kind of help myself to see what would work, what would not work. And it's not like what would work with someone beautifully will work for you. And the reason that I don't think I'll ever do like a demo on a makeup, because I feel like when people do their makeup tutorials and stuff, it can be kind of misleading, because your skin is always going to be different from their skin, and their lighting is going to be different from yours. And it's not going to be completely 100%. I'm not saying that what they're doing is misleading. What I'm saying is that from my experience, you're not going to get what they're doing unless you're really, really good in makeup. But for someone like me, someone like a beginner, not really an expert in doing all of that, I mean, I was very disappointed. You know, it didn't look like a YouTuber's makeup tutorial or a makeup video on what they were doing. You know, and I mean, if you've noticed, my face is very simple. I don't do a lot of makeup. I don't do like heavy duty makeup. To me, I prefer a simpler look. I don't prefer a more glam look. I want to look like myself is what I'm saying. You know, this is what I'm going to look like with or without makeup. It's just kind of a little bit cleaned up a little bit, you know. So anyway, back to the Real Techniques. I do recommend it. I love it. And give yourself a little bit of time to learn and give yourself a little bit of time to actually use it. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge in the beginning if you've never ever used a sponge. But if you have used it before, you might enjoy it. I mean, I do. And I don't think I'd ever get the Beauty Blender because those are, I mean, you get one pack of this equivalent to one sponge. I think it's ridiculous. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you enjoyed it a lot, that you're going to subscribe to my channel and be a part of my YouTube family, channel family. Thank you again, guys, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.